Zarathustra went down the mountain alone, no one meeting him. When he entered the forest, however, there suddenly stood before him an old man, who had left his holy cot to seek roots, and thus spake the old man to Zarathustra. No stranger to me is this wanderer. Many years ago passed he by. Zarathustra he was called, but he hath altered. Then thou carriedst thine ashes into the mountains. Wilt thou now carry thy fire into the valleys? Fearest thou not the incendiary's doom? Yea, I recognize Zarathustra. Pure is his eye, and no loathing lurketh about his mouth. Goeth he not along like a dancer? Altered is Zarathustra. A child hath Zarathustra become. An awakened one is Zarathustra. What wilt thou do in the land of the sleepers? As in the sea hast thou lived in solitude, and it hath borne thee up. Alas, wilt thou now go ashore? Alas, wilt thou again drag thy body thyself?
Here we have a dialogue between two hermits, one who lives in the woods and the other living up a mountain. The old man recognizes Zarathustra, but notes that he has changed. He has become happier in his solitude. He has awakened from the sleep which society puts you in, and became enlightened with the new knowledge. The old man says that he has become a child, which preempts a metaphor that Zarathustra himself will soon use, in his discourse on the three metamorphoses. All of this makes him wonder, if Zarathustra is so happy on his own, why does he want to go back to live among humans?
Zarathustra answered, I love mankind. Why, said the saint, did I go into the forest and the desert? Was it not because I loved men far too well? Now I love God. Men I do not love. Man is a thing too imperfect for me. Love to man would be fatal to me.
This sounds like a dialogue between two sides of Nietzsche's soul. There is a love for humankind running through his work, otherwise he wouldn't care so much to fight for a better humanity. But he is also wary of it. As the saint says, man's imperfect nature will make you bitter and cynical if you love him too much. Zarathustra realizes that he is right, so he will now give another answer.
Zarathustra answered, What spake I of love? I am bringing gifts unto men. Give them nothing, said the saint. Take rather part of their load, and carry it along with them. That will be most agreeable unto them, if only it be agreeable unto thee. If, however, thou wilt give unto them, give them no more than an alms, and let them also beg for it. No, replied Zarathustra, I give no alms. I am not poor enough for that.
Zarathustra moderates his initial answer. He doesn't love humankind, but he cares enough about it to want to share his happiness and offer it to humans as a present. The saint, however, is a lot more pessimistic about the human condition. He believes that the problem isn't that we lack happiness, but that we are suffering. He became a hermit not because he sought happiness, like Zarathustra did, but because he wanted to run away from the suffering. So he believes that the only thing you can do for your fellow humans is alleviate their suffering. He suggests to Zarathustra to make do with giving them alms, but Zarathustra rejects this notion. Charity, for Nietzsche, is an immoral thing. It keeps the beggar in a wretched state, and it is also not good for you, the giver, as it makes you feel superior. You should aspire to greatness that is achieved by trying to rise above other humans, not by lowering them.
The saint laughed at Zarathustra, and spake thus, Then see to it that they accept thy treasures. They are distrustful of anchorites, and do not believe that we come with gifts. The fall of our footsteps ringeth too hollow through their streets, and just as at night, when they are in bed and hear a man abroad long before sunrise, so they ask themselves concerning us, Where goeth the thief? Go not to men, but stay in the forest. Go rather to the animals. Why not be like me, a bear amongst bears, a bird amongst birds?
The saint warns Zarathustra that the people will not be interested in what he has to give them, and Zarathustra will soon find out that he was right. The alternative that the old man offers is shedding civilization altogether and going back to nature.
"And what doeth the saint in the forest?" asked Zarathustra. The saint answered, "I make hymns and sing them, and in making hymns I laugh and weep and mumble. Thus do I praise God. With singing, weeping, laughing, and mumbling do I praise the God who is my God. But what dost thou bring us as a gift?" When Zarathustra had heard these words, he bowed to the saint and said, "What should I have to give thee? Let me rather hurry hence, lest I take aught away from thee." And thus they parted from one another, the old man and Zarathustra, laughing like schoolboys. When Zarathustra was alone, however, he said to his heart, "Could it be possible? This old saint in the forest hath not yet heard of it, that God is dead."
Zarathustra realizes that he has nothing to offer the saint, who is happy to live like an animal, as it makes him feel closer to God. This is not the way of life that Zarathustra finds satisfying, though. First, because living like an animal, going back to a feral state, does not fulfill the human potential. Humans are animals, this is true, but they are animals that have reason and intelligence. If we want to achieve the highest possible form of happiness, our way of life should be one where we have to employ these cognitive abilities. So we should not live in the woods like an animal, but go up the mountain, rise higher than this base level. This is one reason why he rejects the old man's way of life. The other one is that he can no longer believe in God. "God is dead," says Zarathustra. This is one of Nietzsche's famous quotes, but many don't fully understand what it means. The idea of the death of God is first discussed in the Gay Science. Nietzsche claims that human reason has reached a point where, if it is honest with itself, it can no longer believe in the existence of God. By the late 19th century, when he writes, many people around him lost their faith. But while God is dead in our hearts, his shadow still lays upon us. We have based everything, our reason for existing, our morality, our social contracts, and more, on his existence. Without God, all of it is now in danger of collapsing, and we are heading to oblivion unless we first find a way to rebuild on new grounds. But humanity just keeps on living by its old values, oblivious to the danger. Nietzsche's project was to create new values for a world without God, and this is the starting point of Zarathustra. Right away, in the prologue, he tells us that God is dead. Now, in the rest of the book, he is going to offer his alternative.